Hello, Mythra 13 here with another SPORE vehicle spotlight, and these are the fighter aircraft. Once again, I'm not the author of any of these vehicles. The names of the makers are under the names of the creations. It's partly as a tribute to those that made them that each vehicle was the best I could find of its kind. First off, I'd like to go to the A10 Thunderbolt II. It's commonly referred to as the Warthog, and the A in A10 stands for attack. The model of this aircraft took its first flight in 1972, and it features a 30mm 7-barrel Gatling gun at the nose of the aircraft. And the A10 was primarily designed for an anti-tank role, and to date it features the heaviest rotary cannon ever mounted on an aircraft. And it's my best guess that this is why it earned the nickname Warthog, is purely from the brute force and the sound of this enormous gun being fired. Next up, we have the F15 Eagle. Now, the F in the designation for American aircraft is for fighter. The F-15 is a twin-engined designed to gain and maintain air superiority. And unlike many other American aircraft, and I believe all other American aircraft that are jets, that is, it does not have the central, I guess you'd call it dorsal tail fin, and it's considered among the most successful of modern fighters. It first flew in 1972, and it has been exported to Israel, Japan, and Saudi Arabia. Now, the F-16, called the Fighting Falcon, is a multi-role jet aircraft fighter first flown in 1974. Although it's no longer being purchased for use by the U.S. Air Force, improved versions of it are still being built for export to customers. 25 other users, including Israel, Pakistan, South Korea, and Turkey. Next up, I have what says F18. It's also known as the FA-18, F for fighter, A for attack, and it's a supersonic multi-role jet fighter first flown in 1978. It's designed to dogfight and attack ground targets. Has a top speed of Mach 1.8, Mach being the speed of sound. It's a pretty fast jet. It can carry a wide variety of bombs and missiles, supplemented by a 20mm cannon, which would be at the, you can't see it here, but in the actual jet you would find it down below, right here. The Hornet is primarily used by the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Marines, but FA-18s have been purchased and operated by several foreign air services, with Canada being the most prominent, where most of the purchasers of the aircraft bought them through the Navy at a no cost, no loss purchasing agreement through the Navy. The Canadians actually bought them directly from the manufacturer, which you can tell here is a McDonnell Douglas. Now, the F22 Raptor, you see here, is Lockheed Martin. The F22 Raptor is a stealth air superiority fighter, and it has additional capabilities including ground attack, electronic warfare, and signals intelligence. It was first flown in 1997. It had a high cost of about $150 million. So this high cost combined with a federal government ban on F-22 exports led to few of the aircraft actually being built. There were 195 total built, 8 of those being test aircraft, and is no longer in production as it's not going to be sold, and the Air Force is no longer ordering anymore, so just under 200 of these. And again, it's a stealth aircraft. Next we have the F35 Lightning II. Now this aircraft is currently under development to perform ground attack, reconnaissance, and air defense, and it has a stealth capability, much like the F-22. And it's basically originally designed to replace the F-22 or to be a better version of whatever the F-22 was designed for. And it was first flown in 2006, and the U.S. plans to buy a total of 2,443 for the Air Force, Marines, and Navy. And the UK, Australia, Italy, Canada, Netherlands, Norway, Turkey, Japan, and Israel all have plans to have these aircraft in their Air Force. So, unlike the F-22, the F-35 is to be widely distributed to allies of the United States. Next, I have a few that are basically the Soviet jets, and we'll start off with the MiG-25, known to NATO as the Foxbat. This is the NATO, purely the NATO designation Foxbat. So what the actual name is to Soviet makers, I'm not exactly sure. And as you can see, the maker of this particular model in SPORE must speak German, apparently. DH-106 you'll see in a lot of the aircraft I'm featuring, and as well as I believe a lot of the other vehicles in later episodes. Very good, but apparently a German fellow. And at any rate, the Foxbat is a supersonic interceptor and reconnaissance jet. First flown in 1964, and it has a top speed of 2.83, or I should say above 2.83. But when it begins to get to speeds of past 3 Mach, or Mach 3 I should say, it starts to put a real stress on the actual aircraft itself, and it's not safe reaching up those speeds of like Mach 3.2. But at its speed, it is the fastest combat aircraft ever fielded. So whereas they may have at various points designed faster combat aircraft, this is the fastest combat aircraft ever to be flown, essentially. Fielded, I guess fielded would be more like put into regular use, whereas they may have actually had test flights of faster combat aircraft. And specifically, to say it's the fastest aircraft would not be correct. I'm saying the fastest combat aircraft. We're talking fighters. Okay. Next up, we have the MiG-29 Fulcrum. Okay. Now this is a lightweight aircraft designed for air superiority and as a multi-role fighter. Model of this was first flown in 1977, and it's largely built of aluminum with some composite materials, and it has been exported to several countries. Again, this is a Soviet aircraft, so where a lot of the U.S. exported aircraft are sold to allies of the United States, the Soviet aircraft are sold to basically countries that aren't allies, not necessarily enemies, but countries which cannot buy from the U.S. will ultimately, if they have the purchasing power, buy from Soviet sources, I guess, because now that the Soviet Union is no longer together, you have Ukraine, Russia, Turkmenistan, and Kazakhstan, all these countries that may have inherited some of the original Soviet aircraft. I believe, yeah, I think that's all that I got for this plane. But there's one more. We have the Su27 or Su27 Flanker. Now, this is similar in design to the MiG-29 Fulcrum that I just showed you, but it's actually substantially larger, and of course you can't tell in this little window here, but substantially larger than the other aircraft. And it was first flown in 1977, same as the MiG-29, but this has seen actually limited action since its first entered service. Around 680 Su-27s were manufactured by the Soviet Union and Russia. So apparently after the Soviet Union actually broke up, Russia continued to manufacture these aircraft both for its own use and for export. And I believe it's actually the Su-27 that there are two of these aircraft, these jet aircraft, which are actually in the United States and in private hands. Kind of be interesting to find out who actually owns those, and probably just someone with lots of money and likes to fly around in an awesome jet. Well, that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it and have many more to come, and I hope you tune in for the next episode. But until then, take care.